And right about now, we start with the Homa Bay International Investment Forum, where there were no winners and losers in the last general poll. President William Ruto has said. The president said that instead of leaders dwelling on who won and who lost, all leaders, regardless of their political affiliation, must pull in one direction to ensure service delivery to the people. President Ruto spoke as he opened the second Homa Bay International Investment Forum in Homa Bay County. He said his government is committed to supporting devolution as counties are viable frontiers for real development in the country. Achola Simon begins our bulletin this morning.
President William Ruto pledged the support of his government devolution, saying devolved units provide a viable development frontier for the country.
Under the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, the government of Kenya is committed to play its designated role in order to strengthen devolution as a fundamental constitutional mandate, but also because devolved units bring numerous opportunities for rapid economic growth into sharp focus.
In the spirit of our theme, unlocking the bay of endless potential, let us embrace change and innovation in the ever-evolving landscape of investment. As Winston Churchill once said, the pessimist will complain about the wind, the optimist expects it to change, while the realists adjust the sail.
This International Investment Conference is not merely an envisioning of possibilities, but a testament to the unwavering commitment of our county in fostering economic growth and nurturing innovation across all sectors. The big question here is why Homa Bay, and Meg has done a fantastic job because we are the bay of endless potential. We have a vibrant and stable economy, skilled and dynamic workforce, suitable market access and infrastructure, availability of land for development, ease of doing business, and supportive legislative and policy environment.
The president hailed efforts put in place by Homa Bay County to position itself as the best investment frontier in the country and promised to ensure the efforts are supported.
Victory's Farms has learned that pond color can infer future pond efficiency. So before there is some kind of a biological crash, Victory Farms is able to intervene and maintain top performance. With these advancements, I think the new name for aquaculture will be fish tech. And I think Homa Bay can be the fish tech capital of the entire world.
Panga, this is great. As a two-term governor, you're on the right track. You're on the right track. And I want to tell the people of Homa Bay and also to yourself, the kwamba mbele ber.
The president promising to focus on key areas of value addition, increased productivity and affordable farm inputs to ensure food sufficiency in the country.
Tukubaliane kwanza transformation ya Kenya itafanyika kwa njia gani? Ya kwanza ni kuhakikisha kwamba tunatatua tatizo la food security ama kupatikana chakula ya kutosha katika taifa letu la Kenya, tuondoe aibu ya njaa.
The president spoke as he opened the second Homa Bay International Investment Forum in Homa Bay, said despite winning elections, all leaders must pull in one direction.
As I told you guys, and you thought it was a joke. Now you can see it is not a joke. Sindio? Niliwaambia tutapanga maneno kabisa na hakuna mtu atakuwa loser kwa hii kitu. Tutapanga ndio kila mtu apate kasehemu kidogo ndio tuende mbele.
Sana tunataka kusonga na hiyo mbele na tunashikana tu sisi vile nimekuambia kila siku. Mzee tuko nyuma yake tu fully like this. We look at him like this. Where he's pointing we go, Your Excellency. So hiyo ukimsaidia hiyo, we are very grateful.
We here in Homa Bay are very prayerful. And Mr. President, we continue praying for you. Because as fishermen, we have a saying about the captain of the ship. The captain of a boat in Luo is called Madar. And Madar is called a god. There's something we say that Madar enya such ye. Such that if you wish the captain bad omen, then all of you are going to sink. So we cannot afford to wish you ill because you are the captain of the ship.
Former Prime Minister Raila Odinga will grace the conference on Wednesday.
Health Cabinet Secretary Susan Nahumesha has ruled out the possibility of introduction of capping in the contribution to the Social Health Insurance Fund. The CS says that high earners will have to contend with the fact that they have to dig deeper into their pockets in order to help fund the kitty, even as he defended the benefits offered under the new scheme. High earners, led by members of Parliament, had suggested that the highest contribution to the kitty should be capped at 5,000 shillings.
The second day of the validation exercise of the social health insurance regulations, it was time for the Joint Committee on Health to sieve through the regulations. The legislature has taken issue with the 2.75% contribution that will see high earners contribute more.
Because I calculated the money I spent on Arambes on weekends for sick people, I spent almost 200,000. So I would rather pay this 22 if you give us the assurance that nobody will ever put us in any WhatsApp group for Arambe.
From going across the country, from the communities, none has given us a suggestion on capping, because then they are able to see what it is that we are trying to do. If we impact by capping, we will impact on the expected yield. We will compromise the yield. If we compromise the yield, we will go back to the issues that we are facing.
The legislature has also poked holes into the provision that requires those with more than one spouse to make additional monthly or annual premium for each additional spouse.
If you treat a household with two wives as two households, isn't that double jeopardy?
But I think let us go for the definition of the household and recognize polygamy in that sense, and say in case of polygamy, every other is a household on its own. Because otherwise you are going to have a problem.
If you pay the extra premium, it will cover the second household. So the children will not pay any other premium. The extra premium is for that household. Whether she has one child or 10 children, it doesn't matter.
The ministry was also at pains to explain how 25-year-olds without a source of income, who will be considered as a separate household, will manage to raise the 300 shillings monthly.
Surely, where do you expect this young man to get this money from? And even from your own drafting, by the way, you are clearly telling us he has no income. And you are still insisting he needs to pay 300 shillings.
We have still not come to a conclusion on some of the areas that we are pinpointing. And the purpose is for us to give recommendation and to give our views, so that as we put together the final document, you represent a very, very huge constituency. And that is, those are the members who are going to be affected.
Registration to the Social Health Insurance Fund will begin in the first week of March and will continue for 90 days. Contributions are set to begin on the 1st of July 2024. Amid calls for a review of certain aspects, the Ministry of Health says that it is ready to transition to the Social Health Insurance Fund, with the registration process set to begin in the first week of March.
Thank you, Nancy Okwari, for that report. To matters security now, where residents of Yatia in Saimosoi Ward, Baringo North, have fled their homes following the killing of 2 children by armed bandits. The children, aged 11 and 17 years, met their deaths on their way from school when bandits accosted them, killing them on the spot. An unknown number of livestock were also stolen during the attack.
Yatia Saimosoi Ward, Baringo North. Residents with their belongings in tow flee their homes due to insecurity. In the latest incident, bandits struck the area, killing 2 children who were on their way home from school.
Kati ya wale wawili vijana waliopoteza maisha yao jana, mmoja wao alikuwa ni mwanafunzi wangu. Si kwamba fees ilimtoa kwa shule, lakini yeye alipata pasari 7,000 towards the end of last year. So the boy was to come to school and continue. Lakini kwa bahati mbaya alikutana na bandits alafu akawawa.
The latest attack paralyzing learning in 10 schools, including Yatia Primary School, Yatia Secondary School, Romcho Primary, Kosile Primary, Ngaratuko Primary, Kibenos Primary, Chepkesin Primary, Kepngetio, Tuluk, Kagir schools as pupils and parents flee for safety.
Kama sasa tukiwacha kama tumewacha sasa Parsuswa, tumekuja hapa na Aturu tumewacha. Aya hapa hivi hata ndio tunawacha. Wanatufuata nyuma tena bado wanatufuata nini mbaya? Wanatufuata mpaka wapi?
Health facilities remain shut. The locals say they are fearing for their lives, claiming bandits have camped in the area.
Yule mkora alifukuza watu, bado ako na bunduki yake. Hata ukijenga shule, ujenge barabara, ujenge nini na bunduki bado yuko kwa wakora, hiyo ni kupoteza wakati.
Area MCA Michael Cherombor is now calling on the president to intervene. A total of 11 people have been killed by bandits in Baringo North and Baringo South since January.
Mzima tunaingia tu masisi. Pesa yote ile tunachanga area hii tunakuja kusika. Hakuna maendeleo.
That story was compiled by Irene Mochoma. Now, a multi-sectoral working group on the realization of the two-thirds gender rule is seeking the support of the ODM leader Raila Odinga on the elusive two-thirds gender rule. The team, which was led by Gender Cabinet Secretary Aisha Jumwa, met the former Premier on Tuesday as part of its efforts to reach out to major political players to try and push through the constitutional amendment that will see one gender hold not more than 75%, that is, of elective positions in the National Assembly. President William Ruto presented a memorandum in December 2022 on the need for the gender principle.
Opposition leader Raila Odinga on Tuesday met with Gender Cabinet Secretary Aisha Jumwa and the multi-sectoral working group on the two-thirds gender principle to deliberate on the elusive two-thirds gender rule.
Yale tunataka kuona inafanyika kwa mama wanakuwa na nafasi sawa na wanaume katika mambo ya wakilishi.
Being one of the leaders whom we trust in this country and his contribution to this journey, we are happy that he has given us opportunity.
Says Jumwa said President William Ruto on 9th December 2022 submitted a memorandum to the National Assembly requesting for consideration of a constitutional amendment to enact the not more than two-thirds gender principle. The former Prime Minister held that consensus and collaborative efforts are essential in realizing its implementation that has failed to gain support more than 3 times in Parliament.
Msimu wa sasa tumesema ile sheria ambayo iko katika katiba ya sasa itumike. Lakini ikifika uchaguzi ujao tunataka hiyo sheria ibadilishwe ili wamama wawe wanachaguliwa kwa ile mfumo inaitwa proportional representation.
The group Juma says has carried out reviews on legislative proposals on gender quotas nationally and internationally and further engage various stakeholders and members of the public throughout the country.
Sasa tumesema ripoti ya NADCO iko mbele ya bunge. Na tunataka hii ripoti ya kina mama iweke pamoja na ile ya NADCO.
Yes.
Ili pitishwe pamoja.
In its final report, the National Dialogue Committee ceded the matter to be addressed by the working group. The report is expected to be transmitted to Parliament for consideration.
To county news now, where the spouse to the Deputy President, Pastor Dorcas Rigathi, has said her office will engage Kilifi County widows in a mangrove restoration project. Pastor Dorcas said the initiative is one of the empowerment projects that she intends to implement in the coastal region. More in our county news roundup.
Speaking in Gede grounds when she met thousands of local widows, Pastor Dorcas said she has secured an investor who will set up a carbon credit institute in the county of Kilifi to train the widows on entrepreneurial aspect of carbon credit. The project is set to start in a few weeks.
Na tupate nafasi, tunatafuta na nimepata mwekezaji ambaye atafanya carbon Credit Institute ya kuja kuwafunza namna ya kupata credit za kutosha na bei ile nafuu.
Elsewhere, Narok County government and local leaders thronged Nkareta Secondary School, which posted sterling performance in last year's KCSE examinations to pay their accolades. The school garnered a mean grade of 8.3, marking it the top school in the county.
Lazima tuangalie kwamba hii shule imepata pesa ya kufanya wawe comfortable. I sympathize with the dorms that I saw ambayo vijana wetu wanalala. Nimeona tu though saa ingine tunaambiwa tunapenda wasichana, lakini wote vijana na wasichana ni wetu.
Meanwhile, women representatives in the counties of Kakamega, Kitui, Machakos and Busia have faulted the low level of financial allocation that is directed to their counties.
Tungeomba serikali iongeze pesa ya kina mama. Mimi ningependa kusaidia wakulima wengi sana, lakini kwa ajili ya pesa kidogo siwezi kusaidia wakulima wengi.
In the meantime, Kiambu County Assembly Committee on Planning has commenced a public participation forum to discuss whether to repeal the law on freehold land levies. Bunge Mashinani, a non-governmental organization, collected more than 12,000 signatures from Kiambu residents opposing the county government from collecting rates from freehold land. Elsewhere, Meru County Deputy Governor Isaac Mutuma appeared before the Meru County Assembly Implementation Committee to shed light on allegations that his office has been denied money to run the office of Meru Deputy Governor. Lastly, police are investigating the death of a middle-aged man in Bungoma, allegedly in the hands of one of their own. The man was allegedly killed by a police officer after he resisted arrest over a sugar row.
Kitengo yetu ya uchunguzi tumepatiana haraka ili kuanze uchunguzi mara moja na wahusika na ama mhusika aweze kukutana na mkono wa sheria. So sisi tunahakikishia wananchi kwamba kama sheria ukisoma sheria ya Kenya ama ya nchi nasema kwamba hakuna mtu ambaye ako juu ama zaidi ya sheria ya nchi.
And from the counties, we now head to the National Assembly, where the National Assembly Public Investment Committee has issued fresh summons to the Principal Secretary in the State Department for Medical Services, Harry Kimtai. This is after he failed to appear before the committee, which is probing implementation of recommendations from an audit report on the utilization of COVID-19 funds by the Kenya Medical Supplies Agency, that is KEMSA. The committee has since directed him to appear before them in 3 weeks' time. Here is our reporter, Abdiaziz Hashim, with the details.
The COVID-19 scandal has once again resurfaced 4 years after it was an agenda before the Public Investment Committee. The committee, in its report following a special audit on the utilization of COVID-19 funds, saw the invitation, among others, the health PS, officials from KEMSA and EACC before the Committee of Implementation. The meeting was to track progress in implementation of recommendations contained in its 196-page report. Key among them, the recommendation was that companies that sold KN95 face masks and surgical masks between March and July 2020 at exorbitant prices return the excess funds to KEMSA.
All suppliers that may have supplied KEMSA at a price higher than that determined prices should refund the government of Kenya the excess payment made to them within a month of such price determination.
However, the absence of the Ministry of Health Principal Secretary did not augur well with the committee.
Principal Secretary hakukuja. Na yale maneno tulikuwa tumekuja kuhakikisha ya kwamba yameshughulikiwa, sababu Committee on Implementation's work is to ensure that all the resolutions of Parliament and committees are implemented.
Bring to book all the culprits that were responsible for the loss
of 6 billion Kenya shillings of public funds.
EACC, led by the Deputy CEO Abdi Mohamud, was set to unmask the true faces behind the scandal. The Rafael Wanjala-led committee has since directed the PS to appear before the committee on the 19th of March.
Now that these officers, whom we know they are supposed to be answerable, did not come but they delegated, we have said no. And we have issued summons. Failure for them to come, each one of them will pay, those who have failed to come will pay a fine of 500,000 or 6 months in prison.
We are in the year 2024. This matter has not been concluded. We have said today that the Committee on Implementation sitting here has the powers similar to that of the High Court to call witnesses, to summon witnesses and examine them on oath.
Business now, where a school in Siaya County is implementing lessons from the competency-based curriculum by initiating a project of beautifying its compound with fruits and vegetables in place of flowers. Here is Felis Kio with the details.
The Ugole Primary and Junior Secondary School has come up with the best practices that will ensure that the food chain is not interrupted. According to Ugolwe head teacher George Odhiambo Ongalo, the school occasionally sells the vegetables whenever they have its surplus, with the proceeds used to purchase items for the school feeding program.
They get the vegetables from the farm. Whatever proceeds I get once the proceeds are sold, I used to subsidize. So even now, from January up to this moment, the teachers have been feeding on lunch. They have been on lunch program and tea program at no cost.
The teacher in charge of the project, Francis Ochieng Oduor, says that the project, which was started in October 2023, was mooted out of the desire to produce more food. However, the shift does not mean the school does not have flowers. Currently, hibiscus is grown both as a flower and for making juice. The project at the school has inspired parents and residents in the area to embrace farming.
The program aimed at ensuring that we don't spend much money in food production. So they trained us on how to make food, maintain them organically without using fertilizers. So when you move around the school, among the plants that we planted are also some that are used to scare away pests. They are acting as pesticides in the school compound.
We also have Artemisia plants. They're still down in the soil. That one is used to control malaria. So maybe in the near future, our learners will not have any problems with malaria because we'll be giving them that. Back to the village, our parents have done the same. They have Artemisia, they have everything that we have here. That is what they have there. So maybe when you talk to them, they'll tell you more about it.
To sports now, where the GSU Inter-Companies Volleyball Championship sparked off on Tuesday at the Embakasi B training campus with several matches on the card. GSU headquarters company men registered exemplary results when they drubbed X-Ray Company and Bravo Company by 3 straight sets in their opening matches. Headquarters company ladies made it a double victory when they outshone Embakasi B campus by a similar margin.
The headquarters company thrashed X-Ray 3-0 in their first game of the Inter-Company GSU Volleyball Championship before they went on to beat Bravo in similar fashion in their second match of the 4-day championship. In other men's matches, Golf Company defeated Sierra Company by 3 straight sets, while Alpha overcame Kilo by 3-1. India defeated Tango by 3 straight sets. Headquarters now top Group B and will face the Whiskey and Lima companies tomorrow.
We are having inter-companies, which are GSU companies volleyball. It is organized by the GSU fraternity for the benefit of officers.
In the ladies category, headquarters carried on their unit's winning ways when they outshone Mbakazi B by 3-0, while in other matches, Romeo Company ladies defeated Golf by the same margin.
It helps police officer to keep fit. It also brings an interaction because it brings officers from different parts of the country. So we interact, and in a way we do community policing. At the same time, is a way of curbing mental health.
The 4-day event has attracted over 20 companies from different parts of the country, with the final set for Friday at the GSU headquarters in Ruaraka. The main aim of the championship is to unite the servicemen and women and promote a healthy living.
But this time we are incorporating all the companies. The commandant has ensured that he brings all of you. For the reason, this is one way of sustaining mental health, bringing you together, interact, talk to each other, communicate, and also to feel great, to feel that you're appreciated.
That story by Emmanuel Ndongo brings us to the end of the news this morning. Thank you so much for your company. Victor Law will be back in just a short moment with more in the show. My name is Marie Yambo.